So we're here again with CoolIT, with Jeff Lyon at CoolIT, and right now we're kind of in the assembly area. We're going to do some custom assembly as well as some prototyping. And Jeff's just going to kind of tell us a little bit about what's going on in here.
Well, as in the other room, oftentimes we're in the position to actually build up custom-based assemblies. And now we're actually having a for requests coming in for high sophistication, low volume systems. So it's not worth us putting together an entire program to actually go to our Chinese manufacturing plant, but rather we actually have low volume assembly taking place here in Calgary, along with some warehousing capability that we have. The prototyping area that's over to my right, which we can't show right now, is also where we very quickly, when we're working with our OEM development customers, then we can actually go straight from the boardrooms upstairs down into the prototyping shop and very quickly determine whether or not we're going to end up with a successful venture, or if the project may need to have some sort of adjustment.
Okay. And you've probably scrapped more than a fair share of projects down here.
We get them all right.
Okay. All right, well, it's good to know.
No. There's a lot of learning that goes on.
Absolutely.
And obviously, each time you go through an experience, then you have that much more to contribute to the next project.
Absolutely.
We've gone through a few, so hopefully we know a couple of things about our technology.
Excellent. So you do a lot of custom builds for other companies here, or are these basically where your low volume, just your standard in-box retail products are built?
Oh, in-box retail products are actually built in China.
Okay.
So because it's all one configuration and we understand what it is and it's very high volume, then we can actually manage our assembly line appropriately in China. What we are doing here, though, is when we're doing custom assembly with something needs a different length of tube, or something may need two CPU liquid heat exchangers, or customized radiator design implementation. So we actually do that sort of thing here in the shop until it gets to a volume of over 1,000 a month, and then we transition it over to China.
Okay.
What we're also doing here, and actually a program that we're looking to implement sometime during 2009, is a custom system build. So you'll actually go onto the website of CoolSystems.com and determine a pre-configured custom solution. So a configurator of sorts that would include the requirement for measurement of the chassis and the distances for key requirements for tube length prescriptions and whatnot. And that will actually bake out a bill of materials or a recipe for us to build here in the shop and pack that up and send it off to each individual customer. So we want to have the flexibility of a custom solution without the burden of having the customer have to build it themselves.
Right. Okay. Now you mentioned about your length of tubing and stuff. That's one thing I noticed with the Domino. The tubing was a lot different than other tubing from different coolers, and especially from different companies. What's the deal with that?
Well, the tubing itself, actually, you can see. I'll just pull one of the sections out here. The tubing itself is called FEP. The material itself, the chemical composition of this is. It's very different than your standard rubber or Tygon or rubber or vinyl tubing. The reason that we have to go with it's plastic as opposed to a rubber compound.
Right.
The plastic actually doesn't absorb and transmit the fluid or fluid loss at the same rate as a rubber tubing. So when we are doing systems design and it has to last for 7 years or longer, then this really is ultimately the best thing aside from potentially rigid metal tubing.
Right.
So once we go to rigid metal tubing, then literally it could last forever. But even with this plastic, we're looking somewhere between 7 and 20 years. But typically that is well beyond the life of the hardware that's going on, so we're not in too much danger.
Exactly. Although business owner in town still runs his business off of a Duron 650, so hey, you never know.
That's exactly right. You never really know.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. We'll be back a little bit more with CoolIT Systems in Calgary, Alberta.